All right. All right. Hello everybody and welcome to the brand new Heatcast is what I'm calling it. This is basically the starting of I'm hoping to maybe possibly be a series depending on how my wonderful and amazing co-host feels about it. Mr. Cindershadow, I'm pointing in the wrong way. I'm pointing this way and I should be pointing this way. I have my good friend Mr. Cindershadow here hanging out with us.
Hi.
And this is something I really wanted to do, just to kind of hang out and chat with my good friend and maybe chat with some other people. And I actually had some very specific topics that I wanted to talk about. I got so passionate about the idea of talking about these topics that I immediately, it's funny, when I came up with all the ideas of what I wanted to do, I just went over to Cinder and I was like, Cinder Shadow, we need to talk about these things. I must talk to him about him. And luckily he was kind enough to oblige me in that. So, yeah. Well, it looks like right away we have King Gold coming in and we got a couple of other people just hanging out, which is very nice. Yeah.
King Gold. How are you doing? I popped in there, so I have the chat up on my screen as well. Actually, I'm gonna pop it out so I can stay focused forward. I am talking to you guys because I run a 3 monitor system.
Oh, watch out! We got a professional badass over here.
Oh no, God no. Let's see. The front monitor I got from Extra Life, so donate to Extra Life.
Cool.
The other two I've had donated to me.
Everybody go donate to Cindershadow's charity. He's doing a good job helping people. So go and do that for him. He really appreciates it. I really appreciate it.
Okay, and paste. I'm going to put this out on Twitter for you guys.
Hi, Sam Dunn. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in and hanging out.
So we're talking YouTube and Twitch, right?
Yeah, that was the main focus. And I think that there's a whole bunch of different things I want to talk about, but there is a gigantic purple spotted pink elephant in the room going on with YouTube right now. And I know that you actually have a bit more information about it than I do currently. And that's what the hell is going on with the community posts. I have to know.
Well, it was a video that the Spiffing Brit put out about the community tab.
Right.
And he went into detail talking about Dream, which is a big Minecrafter. He's recently did like a speed run for Minecraft that's being contested by a lot of the community and all this other stuff. But it's more so that they're talking about the way of how he gained his following,
Hi, Richard.
how he gained
You're
his
good.
subscriber base, and where his videos really took off. And apparently he had used the community tab posting to give interactions for his channel.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you see these new interactions with the polls and liking and commenting, it then takes the YouTube algorithm as part of that channel. You're liking that channel or those videos, so then it pushes out those videos more. And if
That's
those videos are reaching more so to every mundane person that sees these community posts, then you gain more subscribers that way, and you become bigger, and it becomes faster to get to that point.
Yeah. Well, I just found it really interesting simply because like before the Spiffing Brit did that video, which I did actually see. In fact, it was very funny because what happened was you had posted your what happened was I came onto YouTube and I saw that you had done multiple community posts, and I was like, oh, this is unusual for Cindershadow, but my first thought was, I'm glad he's using the community posts, because my overall opinion is I actually think that when they first introduced the community post setup, I loved it. I was actually immediately envious that I didn't have access to it when it was first released, because I was like, this is something that I wanted to use. I wanted to use it to kind of promote my own material, my own ideas, other things like that. And I legitimately thought it was a good feature, but only a few people were using it at the time, not very many at all, honestly. Some of them were kind of using it like kind of like a Twitter system, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. But going back to my point was I was surprised when I saw you posting on it, and you did it a bunch. Like you did like 2 or 3 posts right away, and I thought it was unusual. And then immediately after I had like saw those posts that you did and kind of questioned them, the Spiffing Brits video immediately popped into my feed. It kind of caught me off guard, and I was like, "Oh, he's breaking YouTube's algorithm. Like, what is this about?" I guess, and I've never been a fan of the Spiffing Brit. I've watched videos of his in the past, but it's I'm not a person who likes to min max games very often, and I'm not a person who's interested in breaking games or whatever. So his channel's not usually something I watch, but I am aware of him and I have seen him do stuff before. So I was curious to watch the video, and I watched it and found out all that information, and it just kind of blew me away that that was something that was going on. And of course, because his video was spreading like wildfire immediately, I started noticing community post after community post after community post after community post. It's like, oh my god, guys, everybody, chill the hell out. Like, you chill out.
Part of it is everyone's seen the video now, so they all are like, okay, let's break this system, because part of Spiffing Briff's video was, this isn't right, this isn't how things should grow on YouTube, and it's taking away from the actual proper way to grow with the algorithm.
Right.
This is a kind of a cheaty way of using the algorithm to a YouTuber's advantage, and that was why he made the video. He said, in the video, he was like, I'm going to make this. Why? Not because I want to exploit it, because it needs to be dealt with and it needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And it really did make sense when he really said that every interaction from this community post is giving your channel an interaction, and thus the algorithm is then taking that interaction and showing your channel to more people. It just creates higher impressions through and through. Now, because I get the stats, I haven't really looked at them. I haven't had the chance. I've been busy. Where are we? Is it under? Yeah, like my impressions are still not there.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I knew that you went out of your way to kind of test it out and exploit it, and I was very curious about how that endeavor was going, because it's been about, what, a week now or something?
Yeah, I did it. I think it was about 5 days straight of posting with these polls and stuff like that. And in all honesty, I have seen no difference.
Interesting.
So to me, it doesn't. Either it's already been patched and fixed, or it never was a thing in the first place, and it's just the test has gone and failed.
Well, and another thing that I was really curious about trying to understand is, like, sometimes when you refresh your YouTube feed, right? What'll often happen is sometimes you got the community post section, but other times it's just invisible and you don't have any access to it whatsoever unless you go directly to somebody's channel and go out of your way to access it.
Well,
so
I just refreshed it while we said that. If you click on home, if you click on subscriptions, it never brings up the community tabs.
Interesting. Okay.
You have to click on home for these tabs to come up. And for me, I've got 4 YouTube posts right now. One is the Spiffing Brit. One is Desolator Magic. One is Sid Alpha. And another one is Optimus. With all of them, well, the Spiffing Brit and Optimus are both doing the polls. The other two, not so much.
Interesting.
Like, I follow Sid Alpha. I've watched a lot of his videos and his consumer advocacy with video games quite a bit. And Desolator Magic, you guys, everyone that knows me, I talk with Desolator quite a bit. So
he's actually been he's been really chill lately. He's actually been interacting with me just for funsies recently, and I really appreciate
he's
it.
Such a chill guy. Like, everyone sits there and rags on him and all this other stuff, and the community is up in arms after every second video the guy puts out. They don't realize he's talking from a point of view that actually is something people really should be listening to. And also, at the same time, take things with a grain of salt. You've got to really have that effect for videos to get some sort of traction, and that's part of the reason why everyone loves to hate Desolator right now.
Interesting. The thing is that not to go too far off topic, but Dez he's an extreme dude, and that's fine in my personal point of view. But I've also recognized that at his core he's a good guy, and sometimes he can't necessarily translate that to every single person he meets. But from the overall way that I've seen him treat people, I'm like, he's a good dude. Like, I mean, I don't even do magic, and I poo-poo magic now, and he still treats me with, kindness and respect, and I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, he's great. I can't say anything ill of the guy.
Yeah, neither can I. Anyways, to get back to the main topic at hand, there was something that I was going to say that when I first started kind of noticing that there was something weird going on with community before Spiffing Brit did his video, was I actually distinctly remember that a week or two, maybe even before that, a few weeks before Spiffing Brit did his supposed reveal on that broken system for YouTube's community posts, I was actually noticing a lot of community posts popping into my feed for channels that I had never, ever interacted with in the slightest. Not even one bit. And, like, the problem is, too, is that, like, the only thing that I did was I was like, this is very strange, but also it didn't cause me to want to go and check out their channel or their videos or anything, because when the way that I would interact with somebody's video, and this is only me personally, be like, I'm not speaking for every single person out there. The only thing that makes me want to interact with a channel is when I see a video that catches my attention and I'm like, you know what? I'm genuinely curious. I'm going to watch your video. But if you make a community post and I don't know who you are, and you're saying like a random meme or a random statement or trying to advertise like a video and you provide a link, I guess, like, if I don't know you and you're popping into my community posts, I'm probably going to ignore you. But that's just how I function. That's, not how everybody functions, clearly, because obviously the system is being broken because people are clearly using the community post for that specific purpose. But it was definitely a weird event seeing channels that I had never, ever in the slightest interacted with popping into my feed for community posts. And I don't really know how to feel about it. Like, I am, like, I like it may sound kind of ridiculous, but I like the idea that YouTube is trying to entice people to, like, use what I believe is a very interesting system. But I don't think it's okay for them to break it in the way that we currently believe that it has broken. Now, we don't know for sure. We don't really have any absolute confirmation on it, simply because I feel like that I have personally not seen anything absolutely concrete. I've seen some weird things, like I said, like random channels I've never seen popping into my community feed. I've seen, channels supposedly grow much larger due to what they believe is supposedly the community feed. But like I said, I haven't seen anything absolutely substantial. And I feel like that is also kind of in relation to your current experience with it as well.
Yeah, like while you were talking there, I just refreshed the homepage a bunch of times, and I'm still seeing the same 5 channels that I normally see in the community post. I haven't seen anything from it. I'll probably use it. Mostly, I was curious how much that this really did affect, and to me, this doesn't seem that the community tab is broken or is affecting things. It just seems like it was a fun video for the Spiffing Brit to make. It really got the community talking about it, but ultimately I haven't seen anything from it, and I'm not entirely sure if we will.
Well, and here's the thing is because what I remember when the Spiffing Brit was talking about the whole situation, he'd made commentary. He's like, "Look at this channel that had 50,000 subscribers and then shot to 100,000 subscribers after doing a bunch of community posts." Or look at this, person who used to have like 20,000 and then shot up to 40,000. And it's like, give me a sample size of somebody that's like Cindershadow. Like, give me somebody who is 1,000 and show me that they jump to. Yeah, show me somebody who's at 1,000, because you have to be at 1,000 to get community posts, and then show me that they jump to 20 or 30 million. And if you can do that, then I think I might be a little bit more convinced. But I haven't seen, other than what I've seen come out of you, which is, like, there's not much going on specifically with community posts. But, give me like a sample size. I want to see if like 3 or 4, I would love for the Spiffing Brit to give me 3 or 4 different channels that are all within the 1,000 range. And I want him to show that they are doing community posts and then jumping to, 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 or whatever, and I think
the easiest way you could do it, you could actually do this for yourself. You don't even have to have him do it. You take some of these community posts that you've seen, take their channel name and put it into Social Blade. It'll show you their subscriber count.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I did here, because I know one YouTuber has been doing this for a long time with the community posts,
mm-hmm.
and that is MTG Lion.
Yeah, that's correct, and he's been shrinking.
I've seen him do this long before the Spiffing Brits video came out on it, and I just looked him up on Social Blade. He hasn't gained anything.
Yeah, that is actually very good, Cinder. That is actually a really good, like a sample piece to kind of experiment with the idea of community posts, because Lion just uses his community posts like he would use Twitter, and I feel like he is literally the perfect sample to, like, he's like the perfect what's the word he's the
person to show the sample size.
Exactly, and it's definitely intriguing because he's been shrinking, which is kind of sad, and I wish him all the best, like, legitimately, because there was once a time where I actually enjoyed his content, but I mean, that's perfect because he uses it all the time, and we haven't seen any growth out of him at all whatsoever.
No, there's the Magic market in particular is very difficult place to grow. I know myself, I will be doing more Minecraft videos. I got a decent response to my Hermitcraft video that I put out when it came to views. And
that's awesome.
For it being seen by people that weren't watching the channel. Generally, I got better views on that. So to me, that tells me that Minecraft is somewhere where I can take myself quite easily. More so than doing these community posts, because the community posts were curiosity more than anything from my part. I was like, this is kind of neat. This is something that sounds hokey. Doesn't exactly sound legit. What am I going to get from this if I do it? Nothing. If I gain a few subs from it, great. But otherwise, this is something out of curiosity that's going to be fun to do.
Well, and the thing is because I was mentioning earlier how when they first released the community tab, I was envious of it because I actually think it's really cool. And I was actually a big fan of multiple channels that I'm subscribed to, kind of utilizing it just to kind of interact in a different way. And I really liked seeing what I saw before this whole thing blew up in the way that it has. And I mean, there are a few channels that, like, some of them will be like, hey, like, we just released a new merch line, or good morning, everybody, how are y'all doing? Or, like, here's a legitimate poll for a legitimate reason that is not based on exploitation. Or, like, take a look at, this picture of, like, this new thing I did in a game I'm playing currently. And I really liked seeing that, and I legitimately had wished that I had access to something like that, simply because as a person who doesn't usually enjoy using social media, like, I have Facebook, I have what's it called? Is it Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah,
Facebook
so
Lite.
yeah, I have Facebook and Instagram, and I'm very reluctant to use them just simply because I don't know. I'm very weird about social media, but for some reason, YouTube is like my ultimate form of social media, and having that secondary way to kind of interact with people through my channel is kind of nice, knowing that it's like, hey, like I can give a quick blurb just to say something really quick, and people don't necessarily need to watch like a whole video or a whole stream to hear that quick thing that I want to say. And I don't need to go to a different platform and gain a whole brand new audience, because the people that I care about talking to are right here, right now. So, you know, that's why, like, I'm personally a fan of the community tab, but I'm not a fan of what's going on with it currently. And I just don't understand where it's currently sitting at, you know?
Yeah, it's the community tab. I think is more of a better way to communicate with your subscribers and just people out there. They don't really get shown out that much. I think they more if you are subscribed to someone and you're going to see the community tab a lot more. That's probably more what of the tool that it needs to be. Currently, with them saying that it's possibly broken with interaction, I don't think it adjusts the algorithm at all.
I don't think so either. I think what happened is because I just think that all that's happening is people that are supposedly being used in the sample size of saying it's broken. I think they've just found a happy medium to interact with an audience that they otherwise wouldn't have access to. Because I mean, here's the thing: it's the classic of, you know, is it better to reach out to somebody for an hour, 10 minutes, or 1 second? So in the sense of like, you know, like we can do a 1 hour stream and we can get a very particular audience that wants to sit and watch and listen. Or we can do a 10-minute video, which might have a wider audience that has more access to giving up 10 minutes of their life to watch something real quick and enjoy it. And we also have that 1 second audience where it's like, I can read a singular sentence in like 1 second or 5 seconds, and I can be a part of whatever this creator is doing and enjoy their content in this completely different fashion. And I think it's that a lot of, like, my personal guess is that maybe it's not actually broken, and it's just they're reaching out to an audience that was always there, but they didn't immediately have access to. You know, like they didn't have the same interactivity, and that's bringing in new people to view their content that didn't otherwise, you know, have an interest in it before. But now that they have that instantaneous gratification of, I read a sentence and now I'm interested enough to go and watch a 10-minute video or spend an hour listening to whatever the hell they're talking about or whatever. I think that's what's going on.
It's kind of the marketing side of things where you get your foot in the door, and this is opening that door for people to see more of it. And I think that was the idea behind Spiffing Briff's video.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's working the way that they thought it was.
Yeah. There is, like I said, I want to bring it back up again one more time, because there is something fishy about the fact that, and it's only happened like a couple of times. It doesn't really happen that much anymore to me, and that's why it could be that maybe they did fix something. Maybe they were silent and they lifted the hood and they tweaked it around and then closed the hood and they're like, "What you talking about?" Because I was getting channels that were popping into my community feed that I was not subscribed to. I had absolutely never watched any of their videos whatsoever. What's up?
Both Falcons saying I'm low.
Oh, that might be, it could be on my side.
You know how to fix that in Discord?
Yeah, I think it might be on Streamlabs, so let me kind of fix that a little bit.
Well, you can do it in Discord too.
Can you guys hear it a little better? I turned it up.
Yeah.
Because I think what happened was...
Either or. Desktop volume turning me up or Discord turning me up.
That's exactly what I did. It was, I changed it in the desktop, because a couple of my streams have had background music and background noises that were blasting my audience into oblivion.
Yeah.
So I just have it naturally turned down. So I turned you up on my side, and I think people might be able to hear you.
A little bit more, Bo says.
Maybe a little more? Okay, I can do that. I'm sorry, guys.
Little better.
Ahead and...
We're getting there, little buddy.
Yeah. And I honestly don't like mind that you are talking on my level of loudness, because
Cinder
we're
is
just
louder, but yeah, but Cinder, put your setting back. I'm not touching the settings. This is all on Habanero.
I took care of it. There we go. Everybody's telling me that
There
it's
we go.
better.
That's good.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Sorry about
Better.
that, guys, but I
Better.
appreciate you guys yelling at me about it. Thank you so
That's why
much.
we have a chat, so they can tell us when we're doing things wrong.
But anyways, to kind of get back to it a little bit more, I just think that maybe it's I was seeing some fishy things. It could be that there was like a bug in the system,
Yeah.
and some people just happened to unintentionally exploit it. And I think it might also be very possible that that YouTube silently changed it under the hood without us knowing, because YouTube likes to do that. They actually do that whenever something weird goes down.
Chopping clip a bit. What?
I didn't
Come
notice
on,
that
Mike.
on my side.
Uh,
Oh, I'm sorry, Maz.
I still haven't adjusted my mic yet since I got the new one, so I still got to go through all this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with this yet.
Okay. It's all good, man. You just let me know when you're comfortable.
Oh, we're good. Yeah, it's not going to let me do it right now.
Okay.
It says I'm still under studio.
I mean, I can also turn it down just a wee bit, wee bit, and that might help a smidge.
Yeah, I just haven't figured out. I got to figure out some sort of software to actually fix the mic.
Yeah. All right, I turned it down just a wee bit, and I think that'll probably help.
But it's limited. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm still playing with this thing.
So the other thing is, I feel like we've talked about the community stuff a little bit, and I feel like we've kind of got our own pretty good evaluation of what's going on with it.
It's Cinder Pepper from Dragon's Lair Gaming.
How's it going, Dragon Slayer? And I want to say hi to all the people. Thank you, Bo Falcon, Wrathwood, Hell for Gamers, Dragon Slayer, all of you wonderful people for being
Maz
here.
too.
Yeah, Maz hanging out with us as well. I appreciate
Yeah.
all you guys coming in here. Like
And
I said, this is
Dung, King Gold, if you guys are still there.
this is I came up with the idea of this being the heat cast, because I'm the pepper and he's the fiery phoenix, so we're both on fire and we're all heat.
Happy birthday, Rebecca.
Hey, happy birthday, Rebecca. Good to see you, girlfriend. How you doing? So anyways, I really wanted, the next thing is, this has been popping up a lot for me recently, and I was also curious to see if any of this kind of stuff has come up for you. I feel like I've been getting asked more and more why I don't stream on Twitch. And I actually have some very specific opinions about it, but I'm curious to hear if people frequently ask you if you want to stream on Twitch.
Not so much. Part of it is I don't really stream on Twitch unless it's things like GTA 5.
Interesting.
Just
because of
YouTube
the content.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't like that type of content.
Exactly.
But part of the reason why I don't do Twitch is I find it's really hard to get discovered on Twitch.
Yes, that is something that I wanted to get to when talking about this topic as well. And I totally understand your point of view on it. I experimented with Twitch a wee bit. I was very reluctant with it. I wasn't super interested in it. I did have some experience with it because there was a very short period of time that my sister was fascinated by Twitch, and she was doing her own streaming on there as well for fun. And she kind of quit it after a while. I don't know all the reasons why she quit, but she decided not to do it anymore.
I don't know if that did anything help, but I think it's just volume for the headphones.
But anyways,
otherwise, no.
Yeah, anyways, the thing is that I personally, I have a lot of issues with Twitch. Some of it being that I don't like how how their system works with how much exposure any one particular person gets. I don't like their whole partner system and all that. personally believe that there is some very not okay bias towards certain kinds of streamers in different ways. And that's not just talking about the ladies streaming. I feel like that I've seen a lot of bias in many different kinds of streamers, both male and female. And I'm generally not okay with it. And I mean, it's that I don't like it how, you know, it's very like, you know, there's always a saying, well, you know, YouTube has kind of a system where they give certain people special treatment and blah 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 blah. But the thing is that I also feel like that it has more leeway than Twitch. I feel like that YouTube is like I feel like that the exposure, like when you first start out on YouTube, I feel like that everybody's on equal footing. Like, and I mean, I'm sure that there are plenty of people who would like to argue that, like, oh, the multiple 100,000 like the 100,000 subscriber channels and million subscriber channels are always taking over. And it's like, yeah, but the thing is that when you start out from the bottom, you're going to get just as much exposure as anybody else who's under 1,000. And usually the people who just hit the 1,000 mark, it's very common for them to get about as much exposure as anybody who is probably, in my opinion, within, I would say, maybe the maximum of 10,000. Does that sound about right to you, Cinder?
Yeah, around there. I'm finding it's harder to be discovered on Twitch.
Yeah.
But if you've got a following on YouTube, they will follow you over to Twitch, no problem.
Yeah.
I think Twitch is a place that you can end up later on.
Mm-hmm. I can definitely see that. It's that, like, I feel like, though, that there's like a filtration between moving from one platform to another. Like, you're going to, like, obviously, if you are, you know, because I've seen it. I've literally seen it multiple times with a few channels that I am very interested in, where I have 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then you go over to Twitch and you have 50 people watching you.
Yeah.
You know, and that feels a little weird. That's definitely a filtration, and I think that it's like, I feel like that there is a people like a very specific amount of people who do what they want to do in Twitch, and then there's a very specific amount of people who do what they want to do in YouTube, and there is this tiny median that collide. They cross platforms, and then there are the people that are the majorities, which is like, I use YouTube because it's convenient for so-and-so, or I use Twitch because it's convenient for so-and-so, and there's literally no reason for me to cross over, because it's not specifically about the content creator, it's about the content. So, like, if I want to experience Twitch content, I stay on Twitch. If I want to experience YouTube content, I stay on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's definitely some argument, because there are some larger influencers on each different platform that can slide over to the opposite one, and you see some gain from each side. But I really just think that there's a lot of people who are just dedicated towards the platform that is the most convenient for them at any particular given time.
The other thing too with Twitch that I wanted to point out, I did start on Twitch for about 6 months before I moved back over to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I got 10 followers, and over on YouTube I had a following probably 100 within a couple months.
Exactly, right?
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just, I stagnated for a while, and then YouTube, I find, is this up-down thing, where Twitch, once you gain, you stay with that game.
Mm-hmm.
I find also.
I would agree with that. Like, because like I said, like, I really feel like that, like, I've just seen various different signs where I feel like that the amount of exposure I get, because I'm not going to lie about it, I'm a small channel, and I mean, I'm comfortable.
We're both a small channel. Come on now.
Huh?
We're both a small channel.
Oh, Cindy, you know you're so much cooler than I am right now.
Oh, I'm not. You've actually got talent. I've just got my ugly mug on the face.
Oh, shut up. You know I love you, and you know that the people in the chat room here love you. Come on, man. It's actually funny, because I actually feel like that I've, you know, one of the best experiences about being part of YouTube is simply the community that I've grown into being a part of. And, I love, you know, the various different content creators that I have unintentionally associated myself with, and I would even claim them as very close friends. Like I consider, you know, you and Perp very close friends of mine. And there's a couple of other content creators that I interact with that are coming up to that level, but I would definitely say that you
Oh,
two
I'm
are
getting a visitor.
Huh?
I'm getting a visitor.
Oh, a puppy?
Yeah.
But I would definitely say that, you know, I never thought that I could ever feel so close to, you know, people that I've only met online and never met in real life before. And I would definitely say that you and Perp definitely fall within that line of being very good friends to me, and I greatly appreciate it. And
Dragon's Lair. Wait, I need to like the stream before that rabid Cinder fan comes in here. Oh, before playing Discord shows up. Jeez, he's been funny.
Yeah, he was ravenous the other night. It was actually funny because there was a moment where I was watching him and I was just like, bro, take a chill pill, Home Slice. Like, love you to death playing Discord, but bro.
Yeah.
Bro, ease. Put the brakes down a little bit, homie.
That's it. Okay.
Still love him.
I'm going to do this live. I don't know how well we're going to see this.
Good to see you, Cobalt. Speaking of Cobalt being in the chat room, we should do some more Faz soon.
Yeah, we should soon.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you can see this on my screen.
Oh, I see him.
Apparently,
he's
there is
adorable.
a "Don't pet your pet" challenge going on around there.
Okay.
Where you just put your hand to your pet.
And you're trying not to touch him.
Screen. She literally is just staring at me.
Oh man, that's so funny.
She wants another treat. That's all. That's all I get.
Very cute. This has now turned into a doggy stream. But yeah, like I said, I'm just really not a fan of Twitch. I don't like how I see people grow. And a major thing that really made me like really want to reflect on that more is there is a and I'm not gonna bring up his name. There is a content creator who I am actually very personally familiar with, and he is only on Twitch. He's not on YouTube, and he's very, very tiny. And I only know him through personal means in my real life, not through my channel or anything like that. And he has recently, like, I'm not sure exactly, I have some theories about it, but he recently got very heavily into streaming for reasons that I'm not 100% sure about, but I have theories. And he's not doing too hot over there. And I feel like that when I was watching him, that, like, especially for newer streamers, little tiny guys, there's this disconnect in understanding the process and being successful within the process versus, you know, making your screen look pretty and throwing yourself up there and playing a game quietly and then pretending to interact with the audience every once in a while. And it's not that what he was specifically doing was wrong or bad, but I could sense that there was this disconnect. Like you know, the classic thing of, like, because our good friend Perp has talked about this multiple times, which is, if you're going to get into this, like, don't assume that you're going to be making thousands of dollars in a
that's
week.
exactly it, right?
Yeah. And I get this feeling when especially when I saw him, and I kind of was curious, and I looked around at a few other very, very tiny guys where we're talking about, like, they're lucky if they get 2 or 3 viewers in a single stream. Yep. And it was disheartening to see that it looked like that they were not able to enjoy the process of what they were doing because they were very, very aware that nobody was coming in. And
yeah,
I feel like I see that a lot more. I mean, and I'm sure it exists on YouTube as well. There's no doubt in my mind that that is a thing that exists on YouTube. But I also feel like that it's more prevalent on Twitch, you know, and you have these people who, you know, are expecting, you know, this beautiful bright light at the end of the tunnel, and all they're dealing with is the oncoming train, you know?
Well, and I think part of the way is how you get discovered on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
You either, if you put in just chatting, which a lot of, like, right now, this would be the category we would probably put ourselves, is
Sure.
just chatting category. We would have nobody there.
Yes.
Why? Because there are people at the top of the just chatting where they're showing their painting, or
Mm-hmm.
they're doing other things that are that people get off to.
Right.
That,
Yes.
that's
In
the
more ways than
easiest
one,
way I
I'm
can put
sure.
it. Right? So there's a different sense of appeal there. Otherwise, you're going by a video game, and when the video games are hot, people are tuning into the higher viewed content creators at this point,
Right.
because that's where the action really is.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that are at the bottom of the list are getting ignored, because not only do you have to scroll down to the bottom of that page,
Mm-hmm.
but all the bigger ones have taken up that big slack already.
Right.
Where with YouTube, it seems to be more, it's kind of that way, but you'll get recommended more. There's a
Mm-hmm.
better sense of an algorithm. Where with Twitch, there isn't really an algorithm with that. But of course, the videos aren't really being saved. A lot of people are putting it back to YouTube for those Twitch videos,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, like when they like make like an archive or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very interesting, and that's why like I still stick with the idea of like and it's definitely that, you know, we do have that kind of crowd that happens on YouTube as well, but I also feel like that YouTube is more, besides the fact that it feels like that you everybody kind of starts on this equal footing, which it doesn't feel like that on Twitch at all to me
No, God,
personally.
no, not on Twitch.
But on YouTube, it feels like, you know, okay, well, you're just starting. You're on the same floor as anybody who is under 1,000. And that usually feels pretty nice, knowing that that's, you know, like, oh, I'm at 100 and I am getting as many viewers and as much exposure as the next guy who's at 100 or the other guy who's at 500 or what have you. And I mean, obviously that varies with, you know, how long they've been doing, what kind of content it is, and things like that. But it's just nice knowing that everybody kind of has this relatively equal floor space, you know, and there, it doesn't feel like that bias happens until you start getting into those really high subscriber counts, you know. And
Mhm.
sometimes that shit gets cutthroat, man. Like I've
Oh
seen it.
yeah,
It gets
yeah.
cutthroat.
Like, me doing the live streaming on Twitch/YouTube, I started out of a sense of desperation of needing human content.
Understandable. Understandable.
I
I
was
get
I
that.
was not in a good place
Hmm.
at all with everything that went off with my life.
It was
Um,
therapeutic, right?
yeah, it was very therapeutic, and
Yeah.
it gave me something to look forward to, and always to interact with human beings out there that want to see what's going on.
Hmm.
Right? Twitch honestly didn't give that. Like I said, I did have the Twitch channel. I started there first, but I was gaining absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I would get one or two people coming out, and it more became, if I went back with YouTube quite a bit, and then I just started uploading and I started doing more. Mind you, my introduction in the way I started my YouTube channel, if I could take that back today, I would, and not ever have gone towards the drama stuff that I was involved with.
Yeah, there was a short period. I remember that. But
Yeah,
that's
and
okay, man. Everybody does it
and
sometimes.
honestly, it was a big lesson learned. It's not a place where I ever wanted to be,
Hmm.
and at the same time, I was not in a very good mindset
Okay.
when I was in that stuff. So it was like, just I've deleted everything that was to do with that stuff, and I'm glad I've walked away from it, and I'm doing more of what I'm actually enjoying, more video games, and actually having fun.
That's awesome.
Right?
That's really good to hear. And I mean, that's the thing too, is because like getting into like the real, like being a drama tuber, it's a very gnarly, slippery slope where,
Oh God, yeah.
yeah, like where it's like you're getting exposure, you're getting subscribers, you're rising in popularity, you know, and things look amazing, but then your life is literally toxicity.
Yeah,
Like that's
and that's
you
exactly
live and
it.
you
And
breathe sludge.
that's why I walked away from it.
Yeah, and it's rough. And I mean, it sucks because, like, and then you start getting involved with other drama tubers, and then, you know, next thing you know, like, at first you start out as being the one who's slinging sludge, and then, you know, the next thing you know, you're the one who's being targeted for having sludge slung at you. It's rough. And I mean, you know, my heart goes out to people who live that lifestyle because, like, I can't do that. Like, I could not do that. I have, you know, such a rough time even just watching sludge slinging on YouTube. Like, I can't do it because it gets me so stressed out and put out of place. And you know, I couldn't imagine trying to build a whole YouTube career of any kind whatsoever off of slinging sludge at people. It just does not feel good to me in the slightest.
Yeah, and I'd rather be where I'm at now with the bit of the consumer advocacy, with the products that we've seen, the error that we saw with the latest product out there.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy to bring that up and bring it to the attention of people. And I'm hearing some rumblings. There's people that aren't happy that I was able to bring that attention forward because they wanted to do something.
Are you talking about the whole dice thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just kind of sit there. I'm like, if you guys are really that upset about me talking about the die and actually bringing forward something that's more better for everyone as a whole, then you seriously have a problem if you're only looking at dollar signs.
But see, I don't see that as sludge slinging. Like,
no, it's not. It's
not. Like, I know that, like, and here's the thing, like, I personally can't watch that kind of stuff because but that's only because I'm so done with Magic that I can't stand the idea of listening to, like, anything about it really at this point.
Well,
like, I mean,
I showed you before we started streaming here. This is one of the reasons why.
Oh yeah, you guys have to see this bullshit that Cinder showed me earlier. I was laughing so hard at it. It's terrible.
I opened that on stream, I think 4 days ago, guys.
Yeah, can you guys see the U of that? Look at that.
Like, I can do literally a kickflip off it.
And, like, oh, it's so funny to me because it's just like, and that's supposedly, like, people have been talking about that's, you know, they've been getting into better card quality, and it's just like, guys, it's just Wizards of the Coast. Like, it's like, it's better quality. No, it's not good quality. Oh, it's this, it's that. And it's like, it's Wizards, okay?
Yeah.
It's Wizards. That's all you need to know. Like, that's how done with Magic I am. It's like, I'm just accepting the fact that Wizards of the Coast is a company that manages to make billions of dollars off of selling faulty product to people who are... Oh man, I was about to say, you know, dumb people, but I like to think that a lot of the people are addicted.
They're selling stuff to people that with an addiction.
Yes,
and straight
thank
up,
you.
Magic the Gathering is an addiction. I am addicted to it, and it's not something I can quit overnight.
Cinder's just like, I need my magic. Oh, I need my magic. Oh. I'm glad that I'm so glad that I stopped with Magic. I can't do it anymore, you guys. It's like, because even the good stuff doesn't feel that good to me anymore, and I barely play it all anymore.
Well, the good stuff, you hook it up to your veins. Come on now.
Yeah, you mash it down in a blender and add a little bit of water, and then you just inject it, you know, right in. Put it in between your toes.
It's part of your soul.
You gotta tap it out. You gotta tap it out. Mr. Habenero and Cindershadow do not advocate drug use of any kind, especially not magic. Oh goodness. Well, yeah, it's so funny to me, but. Yeah, anyways, kind of talking just a little bit more about YouTube and Twitch. I really wanted to kind of talk about it because I've definitely had a lot of people, especially recently, because I mostly stream on YouTube and I'm trying to get more into actual video content. In fact, actually, a few days ago, I was having a very interesting conversation with my dad, who is he's a programmer overall, and he does tons of things, but he's also been a video editor way in the past, way. I'm talking about like before 2000, like in the 90s and early 2000s. He was working on I don't know the words. I'm sure if my dad were here, he would scream them at me. But he was basically doing encoding for digital video work, which is allowing
HTML.
Something like that. Well, he was to kind of explain it from my ability. I'm sure my dad would be, like I said, screaming at me right now if he heard me. But he used to basically, like, when you're watching like a movie and you see all the little blocks and squares of a picture and it looks really shitty. His job was basically writing the programming for DVDs and things like that, and also he did it when Blu-ray was first introduced, which allowed him to convert videos over to, like, movies and videos over to digital and being clarified so that they were in high quality in HD. And he did that for years, and I even have very distinct memories of being a little kid in the late 90s and early 2000s, visiting his workplace and watching him looping the same movies over and over again through like different feeds and experimenting with the higher quality and things like that. And it was fascinating. Like, I mean, it was boring as hell to me as a kid at the time, but being the age that I am now and able to reflect on what he used to do back then, it's genuinely fascinating. And I would even say that a lot of the work that he did during that time pioneered us into the high quality, streaming and video quality that we have now. My dad was actually a programming pioneer in multiple different times and stages of his life. A few of you have actually, like, I know that Lettuce especially has had a few conversations with my dad in my streams, and they really get into it because Lettuce is a very intelligent programmer.
Yes, he is.
And they've had some very interesting conversations where Lettuce has picked at my father's brain a little bit, and you can tell that there's some my dad's done some pretty interesting shit through his life, especially when it comes to programming and things like that. So the whole point of me going into that whole
Jesus, Maz. Like, what? Start reading that sentence she put in chat there.
Yeah, well, it's like you read Maz's sentence and you're like, ooh, delicious, and then you get to the end and you're like, oh god, why?
It's like, got Chinese coming through door. Well, what?
no, it's like, got Chinese coming now through DoorDash. Delicious. I was on a body cleanse. Didn't need to know that. Didn't need to know that. No. Oh wait, I kind of misread it because I thought she was saying that I'm eating Chinese food because I'm on a body cleanse, and I'm like, are you trying to tell me that that's going straight through you? Please don't. Please don't tell me that.
Kind of the way I read it too.
That's how
what? I had to reread it like 4 times.
Oh, grody.
Oh, Maz.
So funny. But I also, with all the stuff we're talking about with exposure, I also wanted to kind of give you a proper congratulatory. I mean, because I've congratulated about it multiple times, and multiple people have. But it's awesome that you reached 1,000, and it's very interesting to see you kind of grow from being at 1,000 and seeing what your experiences are like. So, if you wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit, I would love to hear about it.
Well, first off, thank you.
Yeah.
I've just tried to step it up and do more videos daily. I'm trying to record things on the weekend, although I gotta say it's a little bit more grueling than originally I thought it would be. Part of it is editing. So
rough.
Some of the videos, yeah. I'm still trying to do my This Week in Magic. Those videos take at least an hour to make. If not longer, with the editing time that I got to put into it. I'm usually cutting in and out a few times depending on what I'm having to film. So those take a little bit. And then other things like opening the packs where I'm not videotaping a paid actor of my dog trying to help me out with it.
Paid actor in treats.
Yeah, they get paid in treats. But at the same time, where I'm opening a pack, I do it all in one take. So that is a low. It's something that I can do knock off probably in about 20-30 minutes
Mm-hmm.
compared to the editing the longer ones. And stuff I've been reading, and since I hit the 1,000, there's a lot more resources that do open up from YouTube
Mm-hmm.
where they tell you this is where you should make your target videos. Do a bunch at this, try and grow a little bit more. And that's where they're saying do videos from the 5 to 8 minute range. But
Interesting.
if the video is not over 8 minutes, it doesn't show the same type of ads as a 5 minute video.
So they are actually trying to encourage you to kind of go for that lower time frame.
Yes.
That's
Where
very interesting because
where like a 5 minute video, you can get those skippable ads, which
uh-huh.
is all that I like. When I'm watching YouTube, that's what I want, is the skippable ads. And
Mm,
over 8 minutes, they may put ad breaks, or you'll get ads that aren't skippable
right.
for your videos.
That's
You
fascinating.
do get paid more for the non-skippable ads,
That also makes sense. Okay.
right? But
That's
at the same time, it's opened up all these new things that I had no idea about, and doing the daily uploads has really helped me get a sense of what it really takes to go beyond and hopefully take things to the next level.
to go even further beyond.
Yeah.
That's
So
really yeah.
it's
Oh, go
really
ahead.
interesting seeing, once that door opened, all this new stuff showing up.
That's genuinely fascinating to me because I was actually starting to assume that the opposite was true because I'd been noticing that a lot of channels that I used to watch that like they were like, okay, every video has to be between 10 to 15 minutes because of the attention span of the viewer or what have you, and many channels that I watched have like there's been kind of this new mentality that I think has only occurred because of the absolutely insane growth that YouTube has gone through with its overall, multiple multiple hundreds of millions of people that are on YouTube now. It's generally, and also the fact that people treat YouTube like they would treat cable or satellite, and the impression that I was starting to receive is that people are more drawn towards doing videos that are between 20 minutes to an hour long. And that's because of multiple things, which is that people are watching things on YouTube like they would watch a movie on cable. Or they're
Yeah.
also trying to just, another part of it is watch time is a big deal. It's even bigger than it used to be before. So it's fascinating to me that YouTube is making this great effort to encourage you to do shorter videos rather than longer ones. I find that very fascinating.
Yeah, there is a balance on both of these. And when it comes to longer videos, the one that stick out in my mind was Rachel Messer is her name. She did a video.
I personally have never heard of her.
This was kind of more it was more kind of drama related, but it was more information around copyright with anime.
Oh, I've been hearing about some of that stuff, I think. Not
Right.
from that person, but I think I've heard a few people talking about it.
And when she did her video I believe was an hour and 20 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
But she poured everything in there with the editing and everything like that. And I can't imagine how much editing went behind that video, because she had cuts, titles, labels, all this other stuff. And this is all stuff that they do kind of want you to do with the longer videos when it comes to YouTube.
Right.
You can even set it up if you're watching like a video of an album from a musician. They can cut it up where they have each song segmented in the video,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can put ad breaks sort of with that stuff. And I've seen a little bit of that, but I don't pay too much attention to it. And that's kind of how she did her video. She did it in like 5 segments and really chopped it up where things were. And this was back where her video was on people live streaming animes and adding very little extra commentary to it.
Right. Which would
where
make sense that there would be some copyright issues with that, I think.
that's exactly it. And that was
Yeah.
the whole point. And the whole point of the video was to say, listen, what you guys are doing, I don't care that you guys are doing it, but at the same time, you're going to find yourself in a world where it's going to make things worse for you and everyone else. It's going to make things way worse for everyone else that's trying to legit make content on YouTube, Twitch, and everything.
I think I understand exactly what you're talking about, because I believe that I've also, because I watch a few Anitubers as well as an Anituber podcast. It's very fascinating to me, and a couple of them were talking about it, how because of like what's happening is you have the legitimate Anitubers who are reviewing animes or discussing animes, and what they're doing is they take short little clips to kind of just show you what they're talking about, but it's not like a full-length feature.
Episode.
But now those people who are making that legitimate content and using those clips as directional tools for their audience now have to be concerned that, because we have these people who are just straight up stealing the full-blown content and reproducing it elsewhere, which is basically piracy.
Yes.
And now they have to worry that they're going to get in trouble for a 5-second clip of something because...
And that's exactly the point of the video. It was because you're taking all of this together and now you're just redoing the entire episode with you on a camera showing it. It's kind of the same thing as playing a video game in that sense. Magic the Gathering, I don't even consider in that category, but when I play, like, say if I was to play Super Mario Brothers on YouTube, technically Nintendo can take that down.
Well, but
if they wanted to.
The saying is that any video game company could potentially do something like that if they wanted to. Like, the only reason why we're even using the word Nintendo is because Nintendo only, like, basically used to destroy people over that kind of stuff, and they only just recently came out of it. So...
they just recently let it all go, and they finally saw the actual value of someone showcasing a game.
It's free advertising.
It's free advertising when it comes down to it.
It's free real estate. Yeah.
So it's been a very rough road with that sense, and a lot of people don't want the copyright to get worse before it gets better, and that's kind of where things are going. Look at the DMCAs that happened with Twitch.
They are in a mess of trouble for that shit, and they should have known better, in my opinion. They should have known better.
They did know better, but Twitch wasn't doing anything about it because there was no judgment against them. And that really came down in a court of law, and that's why things have gotten to the way that they are now. It's really unfortunate that it got to that point, but it's also the same thing that we see with YouTube and the way the copyright system works on videos. And I've had to limit things. I know I do the Streamlabs Super Chat stuff with like the Pokemon theme song. I still haven't seen anything from that, and I think part of it is because it is a very limited segment of it. Now, if someone was to turn around and do multiple versions, like we did see once with the danger zone one that I was doing, because it got played over a series of over 30 seconds.
That's you're talking about Kenny Loggins, right?
Yes.
Okay,
it
that's
got
what
tagged.
I thought.
And now since that got tagged, I can't even play it because I even play a 2-second clip of it now and it gets tagged automatically.
Wow, 2 seconds and they're on your ass?
Yep.
Whoa. I thought that the law for free use was wasn't it 10 seconds or less?
It was originally like 30 seconds was what was allowed.
Yeah, but they changed it to 10, I thought. I thought that's what it was.
I don't even know what they changed it to. It's just because things on my channel got flagged with it once, now it auto gets flagged.
Wow. I didn't think that that's how that system functioned.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that way,
man.
until it happened, right? And then I played it again, and I was like, are you kidding? Like, I think in the YouTube thing, it said it was something like 2 to 3 seconds of the song actually being played. And I was like, that's why I had to discontinue that one.
Do you ever utilize the silent editor that they have built into YouTube specifically for those kinds of things?
I did it with it's unlisted right now, but I have a playthrough of Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past,
Mm-hmm.
and the game is notorious for getting tagged by a third party not related to Nintendo, tagging sounds in the game.
I've seen that actually. There was I do know about that. There was one that was if you play, I think it's Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time,
Yeah,
there's a temple where they play Indian chanting music,
yeah.
and you can get a strike if that music plays in your video.
Well, it's not. It won't be a strike. It'll just be a copyright notice.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Yeah, I've definitely seen people talk about that in the past,
yeah.
which
And
is pretty
it's really
fascinating.
unfortunate that it's continued to go like that, and that's part of where people are saying this is where the YouTube, the copyright side of things are kind of broken.
Hmm.
Because if you want to fight these copyright things, you have to give your full name, your address, your phone number, all this stuff to fight it, and that's why a lot of people just let it go.
Are you giving it to YouTube or are you giving it to some
No,
third
you give it
party?
to the third party that has claimed you.
That's not okay. That is
No,
super not okay. YouTube should be regulating that. They should be like, okay, well, we need this information, but we're going to be the ones that regulate it, and we're not going to be distributing this information to any suspicious third party. And
yeah,
YouTube should honestly be on top of that. Like, it kind of surprises me that they're not. I mean, they're a multi what billion-dollar corporation at this point. Maybe they're not actually making that much. I'm not sure. But I mean, they should be at least big enough to be able to, regulate that better, I would think.
YouTube's in the red.
Interesting. Interesting.
Last I checked, I believe they were in the red when it came to streaming and stuff like that. But they've got so much revenue coming in and out; it's very hard on a regular basis to see where they really are.
That's fascinating.
I think
It
they make
makes
more with Google AdSense than they do with straight up YouTube.
That actually makes a lot of sense. That's another thing that I kind of wanted to bring up, but I almost forgot is it's very obnoxious that people will complain about YouTube being greedy and taking cuts of like super chats and things like that because
Yeah,
I
no, like
disagree
if
with
they're
that.
taking a cut of it, you're using their system. They've given you this platform
Yeah,
to no
exactly.
charge to you.
Like, I mean, let me explain something. YouTube is not this, beautiful, perfect utopian system or nothing. But the thing is that they're doing an amazing job with what they provide and what they're giving us. And they're even, like you said, in the red, which I didn't know. And
Yeah,
and that means that, they're providing this amazing free platform which you also have the ability to make money off of if you're good enough at it, and they want to take a cut because they're the business running the damn platform. You know, why should you be more deserved of that money and that cut than the company that runs the whole damn platform and even gives you a place where you can even put material on, Like, I think it's just interesting to me that people can be that way, and it's like, well, if you're so mad about it, go to a different platform because that's clearly your problem. Just go somewhere
yeah.
else.
Like I said, I don't have a problem with them taking any cut whatsoever.
I really don't
Um,
either. I mean, I'm not
I
even,
just really
you
wish
know.
I could get the timing with the super chats figured out myself,
Mhm.
because I know there's a lot of people that are watching my channel. Bo Falcon's one of them. Crash Test is another that are loving the jump scares, and you cannot get a proper jump scare with the super chat option.
That's rough. I also, by the way, managed to take your advice and I fixed the whole Streamlabs donation thing, which there's a link in the description below if anybody's curious.
Yeah. By the
Um,
way, Habanero, while we're doing this, if you
yeah,
put your link in chat right now
and pin it.
and pin it,
I guess I could. Uh, oh god. I'll do the thing. I'll be the professional streamer and do the professional streamer thing. Uh, hold on. All right, hold on a
just put
second.
money into Caterpillar. Oh, Maz, I'm sorry, they're going to bury it deep.
All right, I'm actually
Because they
typing it
make
out
rolls.
like a noob. But the point is that I haven't made it so that the link is not in all my videos because I would have to go back and redo so many descriptions and I'm not
You
really.
can also set your presets 4 videos, I still got to go back and reset my presets.
Oh, so you can actually like mass change a whole bunch of them?
I think you. Can you?
I don't know.
I
I've
think
never seen
it
that.
it asked me to mass change a bunch
Hmm.
when I hit the 1,000 subs for monetization, and for what is it, memberships. When memberships went active, it asked me to mass change. So there is a way to do it, I believe.
Okay. I'll
If I
have to
ever
look a
figure
little
it
bit
out, I'll
deeper
let you
into
know.
that. I mean, I'm still constantly learning new things about YouTube
Oh
and
yeah, I'm still learning, and like I said, when I hit that threshold, all these new things opened up. I was like, "What in the world is this? I haven't seen this. Where was this like months ago?"
Hmm. Yeah. It's fat.
Right? There's
Like
a whole
that's
series of videos you can look up on how to grow more, on what YouTube wants and everything like that, and they're muchly worth checking out. I'd say.
Yeah. Well, it's just that it's fascinating to me how YouTube is this constantly growing system, and they don't even want to tell you about all the things that they're growing on. Like I said, like when we were talking about the community thing, I wouldn't be surprised if they just flipped open the hood without anybody knowing and just changed a bunch of things.
Yeah, and in all honesty, that might have been what happened, because I didn't see anything from it. I've spoken to other people, and they haven't seen anything,
Hmm.
any positive repercussions from it. So I don't think it was really doing anything, or if it was, it's now been fixed.
That's my belief too. I would almost lean more to the side that it's been fixed, and I think it was
Yep.
fixed probably much quicker than people have realized is would be my guess, because like I said, like I definitely, once again, just repeating it, I definitely saw some suspicious activity where I was getting recommended videos, well, not videos, I was getting recommended channels through community that I had never ever once ever interacted with, and it seemed really weird to me. And but I'm not seeing that anymore. I haven't
No.
seen it in over like almost since the video blew up is when I stopped seeing that, like legitimately. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me at all if they just jumped on it. They were like, "This is a problem. Deal with it now. Don't tell anybody. Put on your ninja hood and grab your shuriken and sprint in there and then get the hell out." Like, you know?
Yeah, I just out of curiosity, I just hit the home tab just to see everything that's there, and I don't see anything I don't really recognize, and that I don't recognize.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
and it could just still be that time will just have to tell on it. I don't know.
yeah. Like if I scroll way down, I start getting into things that people I don't see. But in all honesty, I'm seeing the same creators over and over again.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you, how are you doing on? Because I know that you've been very busy today. How are you doing on time, my friend?
I'm okay. I'm hungry.
Yeah. Well,
It,
I made a promise to my good friend Cinder that he is calling the shots on this because he has a much busier schedule than I am. So when he feels like that he wants to dip out, that's when we're gonna call it. So, but if you are interested in talking more, we can.
we could talk for a little bit longer. I
Okay.
just had a dog groan at me because she's laying on the floor and being a very groany girl. So
Okay. You wanna maybe go for maybe like another 20
sure,
minutes? Okay.
sure.
Yeah. Um yeah, so it's just been overall pretty interesting interacting with YouTube and kind of looking into Twitch, and like I was very fascinated by Twitch because of not necessarily, I wasn't fascinated because I wanted to be a part of it. But I was fascinated by the people who were contacting me about it, and also like recognizing on Twitch somebody that I knew in real life who was really struggling. And you know, it's just been fascinating to kind of see the direction that Twitch is going, especially because they're dealing with the whole music problem. They have all their biases and issues, and I'm just not thinking that I wouldn't say that Twitch is something that is going to fall apart anytime soon, but I do think that they're headed for some dark times if they keep going down the path that they're currently going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say so. With the certain bannings that we've seen of other content creators that were actually quite large on Twitch,
You're talking about like the whole Doctor Disrespect and all that.
Yeah, and
That was
what
such a
it
big
came
freaking
down
mess.
to was they didn't want to pay him out of his contract, was what it sounded like,
Yeah, that's
and
the
what it
impression.
really did look like, why they got rid of him.
Yeah, it just seemed like a big mess, and I just didn't like. It was one of those like, Twitch, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
doing? What are you
And
doing?
there's legitimate people going, well, they're more towards the risque side of the internet right now,
Mm-hmm.
where if you want to go look at actually stuff that you'll get off to, you can go do that. But Twitch is monetizing it way easier than those other sites, it seems.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, and here's the thing too, is because I personally have taken a stance of not discrediting, like, for example, the whole thing with women doing just chatting. Because I've definitely run into some issues where, like, in real life, issues where, like, I've had people that I've known be like, "Oh yeah, so like, have you seen like those streamers that are on Twitch that are ladies and they just get paid to do nothing all day?" And like, I get
I just
upset.
ignore it.
Yeah, well, I get a like, I mean, I usually don't interact with when I hear that comment, but
No,
my first response in my head is, you know what? You go do it.
unless they're playing Among Us or Phasmophobia, I'm completely ignoring it.
Yeah, and it's just that, like, well, I mean, and you're talking about ignoring those areas in Twitch.
You know, like I don't like I have Twitch because there's certain YouTubers that I
Mm-hmm.
follow, and then they're live streaming on Twitch, and that's the only reason why I have Twitch right
Right.
now. Other than I have my Twitch account, which I may stream to in the future every once in a while, but it's just not one of those places. I just don't feel as welcomed on Twitch as I do on YouTube.
I feel the same way. And the thing is that really made me upset was that I don't even know if they've fixed it yet. I just gave up. Like, I gave up trying to even attempt messing with it. They wouldn't let me because my Twitch account is older than my channel in the sense of me producing material. So like, my YouTube channel was named Mr. Habanero for a long, long time. I've actually had this channel with the same name since, I believe, like 2006 or something like that. And so I've had the channel name Mr. Habanero since I first built my channel way back in 2006, and never bothered to change it. But I only started making content on YouTube within the last couple of years. And now that I have this recognizable name that people know me by, that was something that I wanted. At one point, I was going to, like, okay, well, I'm going to go over to Twitch and I'm going to change my Twitch name, which I believe is like named like Cake something or Pie something. I don't even remember. It's been so long. And like, I had like a silly name involving cake or pie or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, because of brand recognition, I wanted to be able to change my name to Mr. Habanero over on Twitch. They won't let me change my name. They won't. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know what that's all about. And I've
It's
tried.
it's not just you, Habo. My original Twitch account, because I got rid of my cell phone and the phone number to it, they
Mhm.
won't even let me into it without my old phone number.
That's so gross. That's
Yeah,
so gross. Yeah, it's just like I said, like, there are a lot of things that really turn me off about Twitch, and it's like, it's a combination of like how the platform functions, how, you know, people are you know, recognized, the recognition program, how people make money is not on Twitch is not something I'm a fan of. Because I barely understand it. Like, oh, bits this and bits that, and it's like, it's not
bits
something.
are just a different version of cash. You're buying their version of cash is all it is. It's kind of like a crypto in that sense that you're buying into their own system.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference with it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like, it's just like, YouTube will just give me the cash. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like, they'll just give me the cash. I don't want to. I'm not looking to bank myself into you know, Twitch Bitcoin over here. That's not the whole plan. Like, that's not what I was getting into this for. I mean, Well, obviously the cash is not why I got into this, but I
No.
mean, knowing that that's a possibility in the future, it's like I'm not interested in your whole cryptocurrency. Like that's not what I'm all about. Like that's not what I'm here for. And if somebody is going to pay me cash, I'd like to know that it's cash. Like obviously it's an electrical transaction, but at least I can understand, the money. Like I understand what that is. Like you're giving me the US currency, or you're giving me the
Give
Canadian
Habanero the
currency.
dollar bills, yo.
Make it rain, baby. Make it rain. Bitch, where my money at? Oh, so good. Yeah, it's I feel like Twitch is this big mess that I don't want to involve myself in. And every time I hear about cuz I try to ignore the drama, I try to not acknowledge that, they have a problem with gender over there, and preferences over what specific kinds of people
What do
and
you
things
mean?
like.
They don't have a problem with gender over there. They don't have a problem with identifying. As long as you identify as something other than human, you're going to make it fine.
I just mean that, that makes perfect sense, Cinder. By the way, for anybody wanting to know, pay me the money now so that I can spend it on plastic surgery to grow tits. That way I can get huge on Twitch. So, all donations that I receive in this stream will be all dedicated towards my gigantic boob fund. Uh, yeah, totally. But it's just that, I don't really have a problem with, the ladies doing what the ladies are doing over at Twitch because, let's face the fact that no matter what people want to say, they are providing an entertainment service. You can't get around that, and obviously.
Wait, Maz, you had 250,000 subs?
So here's the thing that was really interesting, and I had a chance to talk about it once a long time ago, but I didn't bring it up simply because what I'm aware of is that Maz had a very troubling situation. She actually used to be a streamer, and she once told me a little bit about it, and she went through some things that made her stop streaming. And I mean, Maz, feel free to chime in and correct me if I'm wrong or anything like that. But she basically had to leave due to some not so good people not doing some basically doing some not so good things to her. But from the impression that I got from talking with Maz a few times about the subject, it sounded like that and I mean, Cinder, you've seen Maz's photos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, clearly she was a successful streamer. So, yeah, Maz, you're a pretty interesting lady. So, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she actually did have when she threw that number up, that doesn't surprise me at all. She just it was funny because a while ago, Maz actually did a stream on YouTube that I was lucky enough to participate in. And I kind of told her that she should think about trying to get back into it if she's feeling comfortable and secure. But she's kind of doing her own thing, and she also has to be. And she explained this to me before, is that she has to be. She can't just think about herself. She has to be worried about her family because she has a big family.
Yeah,
now.
I understand that.
And based on the stuff that she told me that she had to deal with, I can completely understand why she left the streaming game, despite the fact that she was probably pretty large at the time.
I can understand it too. I've seen it a few times with other people and other streamers. There were a few streamers that I was following on Twitch back when I was kind of doing stuff there, but at the same time, you would see the type of harassment that I think we're talking about here, and it's not nice.
Well, it's not only just not nice, it gets to a point of where it's dangerous.
Yes.
And I got the impression that that's what Maz was dealing with, was she was dealing with the pretty dangerous kind of attention, where it was her life could have been in danger.
Anything that someone should ever have to deal with.
Yeah.
What is it? Recently on one of my videos, I got a very minor threat on it, and I just deleted and reported it to YouTube.
There you go. Yeah.
But back when I was first doing the YouTube thing, the one little bit of drama or whatever you want to call it at this point, the amount of I didn't have a problem with the negative stuff that came from it. It was the amount of threats and the amount of the amount of stuff that would push a person over the top.
Yeah.
Honestly, where I went, no, this isn't what I want to do with it right now. I want to focus more away from that, play games, have fun playing games, interacting with an amazing audience, and go from that. I don't want to draw that type of toxicity, and it's kind of worked out in that sense. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely haven't had to deal with any particularly bad scumbags, but I also like to think that that's probably due to my current audience size. And I am aware that if I do potentially get bigger in the future, that is something I'm going to have to interact with. But I will say this, as a person who in the early 2000s spent quite a bit of time on 4chan, I have a pretty good amount of confidence that I think I'll be relatively okay when I have to deal with.
It's also a different world now. We've got all our big people on YouTube and on Twitch. You look at like Pokimane, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, and they've all gone through this, and they've been those targets of that type of harassment, and obviously what we've seen here with
and they all have their own ways of coping with it too, which is very impressive.
That is all, they've all laid down the groundwork where we are now. So there are ways people can properly deal with it now that are a lot easier and a lot better. Like what is it, this year we saw Boogie pull a gun on someone because they showed up at his home.
Wow, honesty, I did not hear about that.
No,
not at all. I don't watch Boogie or subscribe to anything.
Yeah, he pulled a gun and actually shot at the guy.
Whoa, was this a person that was harassing him?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, I get it. Like, I get it. It's probably not going to look good for him overall, but at the same time, it's like when you get to that size, when you get to that number, those big numbers, you have to accept the fact that there's some psychos in there.
Yep.
You can't get around that. There's some crazy people out there that are not okay. I mean, hell, we can, it's...
And those people take it way too far.
Yeah.
Recently, I know another YouTuber that actually had his wife getting threatened.
That's scary.
And he didn't approach anything with his YouTube channel for his wife.
Yeah.
So they went out of their way to find his wife. And that type of thing is not cool. It's honestly not cool. It's obviously a call to the police and a step up of saying, listen, don't do this. Right. I need this protection. And that's not cool at all. I don't want to see that against anyone, no matter what they make or no matter how they portray themselves.
It doesn't matter what kind of, like, it doesn't matter how well known you are. No human being deserves to be treated that way. Yep. That's just what it has to come down to.
And you look at the royal family and you look at the big celebrities, and they've dealt with the paparazzi for so long and so many times. And this is why people act the way they are now, and why things are laid out for them, and in certain places that they have the laws against it.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's definitely kind of scary sometimes, because in our day and age, like, we are more connected to one another than ever before, like ever imaginable from before. And it's gotten, like, as much as that is a beautiful thing that we are constantly able to benefit from and take advantage of and reap the wealth and the value of, it also, you can't avoid the fact that there's also a significant amount of danger and hostility involved with it as well. And the only thing you can do is just learn from your own mistakes, honestly, because sometimes that's a big deal as well.
Yep.
And also accept the fact that not every like it's the numbers game rule, which is just simply that, you know, like you're going to run into those crazy people. You're going to run into those dangerous people. You can't avoid it. That's not everybody. Like, I was actually like really amazed a while ago when, you know, Perp, my catcher, was sitting in the basement reflecting on, you know, a lot of the stuff that had happened. And he said something that was so beautiful that I thought it was beautiful, which was he was like, you know, despite that situation that I went through, the majority of people out there are either neutral or good
Yep.
people. And it's like you...
Part of the reason why I play neutral good in D&D all the time.
That's so good. But yeah, and that was such an impressive statement coming out of him who just went through a traumatic experience. Yep. And it was kind of this really powerful thing that he said that I kind of had to reflect on myself, because I was kind of going through some stuff unrelated to his specific situation, where I was feeling like that I was seeing a lot of really bad stuff in people, and I thought that I was surrounded by people that were just not good. And, you know, hearing that statement kind of reminded me that, you know, the majority of people, they're either trying to live their life stably or they genuinely want to do good for themselves and other people. And then you have that teeny tiny amount of people who are just crazy or scum, and they're also, their actions and their words are just so loud that you can't help but hear it, you know? And it's the classic, like, it's the loud minority versus the silent majority, you know, and you're going to take notice when those scumbags are out and about doing the terrible things that they do. But you just have to remember that not everybody's like that. And, you know.
Yeah. I got to say the situation that Mike has gone through is horrible. And I really feel for him at the same time as the amount that it has brought back into my head all the shit that I've gone through in my lifetime right now.
Absolutely.
And we had a neighbor get shot up.
Yes, you were telling me about this not too long ago.
And that was the first thing that came to mind was when that happened. And that was an absolute scary situation. Where we are now is way better off. And that was the first thing I said to both Mike and Carly was, you know what, you guys are going to move forward. You're going to be way better off than you were.
Yeah.
That put you into that situation. And
Absolutely.
You'll be looking back at it and remembering it and knowing it was a shitty situation. And now you're way better off and you're looking forward to the future. And that's where I've been. And then, of course, we went through the crap with the our life and everything else like that. And then I also had one of the times where I was at the hospital, leaving the hospital, I had a guy actually come at me.
Wow. In a hospital?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the hospital. I was just getting into the car to leave. Like when we were dealing with the hospital, I was there daily, and we were at the point where even insurance on the vehicle was near impossible to pay for, but it was required because we had to be there almost daily.
Wow.
And the one day that I was leaving there, I went there alone without the wife. She needed the time to just be at home and not be there.
Yeah.
And I was leaving the hospital, and in the parking lot, it was a circular ramp that you had to go, and it was a one-way ramp. And I was just getting in the vehicle, and up coming from the opposite direction was this SUV. And he coming up, and he ended up stopping right behind my vehicle just as I was going to try and back out of the stall. So I honked my horn, and the guy started flipping out at me. And so I just put the car in park, and I rolled down the window, and he actually got out of the vehicle while it was in drive on a ramp.
Oh my God.
Right, I got out of the vehicle and I looked at him and went, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
As his vehicle started careening backwards down the ramp with his girlfriend in the seat screaming at him.
That guy must have been on some heavy shit. Right?
He luckily was able to step back in the vehicle and put his foot on the brake, like a foot away from a pillar.
Oh my God. That guy sounds like a psycho. Like,
And I sat in the vehicle for about 10 minutes and I just sat there. I went, should I call the police? What do I do in this situation? And I looked down and went, you know what? He's probably having the absolute shittiest day of his life if he's coming into a parking lot at a hospital.
he put your life, his girlfriend's life, and possibly other people who might have been like driving near him's life in danger. I would have called the cops on that guy.
Uh, it's
I
also,
mean, more power to you, brother. It's all good.
yeah,
Like, I'm not saying
it's
what you should have
also
done.
the location of where the hospital is. It's known for people completely fucked out of their head. Pardon
Yeah.
me.
No,
Um,
you're good. Don't worry. I'm okay with cursing on this
yeah,
podcast. It's fine.
and it was one of those situations. I went, he's probably having a horrible day,
Mm-hmm.
and the last thing he's going to need is the police showing up and trying to take him down or all this other stuff. Especially if he's in a parking lot of a hospital. I don't know if his or if he's there for something. Obviously, he's in a completely disarray state. So I
Mm-hmm.
just went, you know what? I'm going to drive home. I don't need this interaction with the police myself. I'm already having a crap day, and I just
I
left
can
it.
understand that because of all the stuff that you were already currently dealing with. You didn't need to add on to that,
Yeah,
and
that
that's I
that and
get
that's
that.
exactly what it was.
I get that. That's totally. I think that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um, well, you know what? We've definitely been here for about an hour and a half, and I really, I really have been appreciative of you hanging out with me and doing this podcast with me. So I don't want to overdo it on you, buddy.
Hey, no worries, man.
So
I gotta try. I'm still gonna try and do a stream later tonight. It's Friday Night Magic for me.
okay.
I'm hoping we can draft the new set because I want to play with some of the new cards.
All right, that sounds pretty fun. You know what? Even though I have a great disdain for Magic, I will come in and chill with you guys for
Hey,
a while.
I gotta say, I don't like playing constructed
Mhm.
Magic as much because I have probably about the same disdain as you. It's overpowered nonsense and it's absolutely ridiculous when it comes down to this stuff.
Mhm.
For me, playing a limited style of Magic the Gathering is much more of my feeling of a level basis.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's a few sets here and there, and Zendikar is always one of those sets where if you draft the bomb, you're going to win.
Right.
Zendikar has always been that way. The three renditions we've been there, and that's part of it. But when we go to a new plane, it's not normally like that. So that's kind of where I sit with Magic the Gathering, and I understand where you sit at it with it at the same time.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I'm not going to tell you at all to stop having fun, Cinder.
Yeah.
Like, I'm legitimately like, I think it's awesome that, people can still get, enjoyment and fun out of a game that they love, and there is legitimately nothing wrong with that at all. I have recognized, though, that I have received and had to deal with more annoyance and stress than I have had to deal with being able to have fun with the game. And thus, I've actively made the choice to be not buying cards, to not be playing the game. I mean, it's one of my friends, still, basically my best friend, he still loves the game. And I know that he would very much love to come over and play Cube with me. So if he comes over and he wants to play Cube, I would love that. But other than specifically that, I'm over it. I'm done. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to buy new cards, and I don't even want to buy old cards, which are the only kind of cards I even like anymore. And I don't want to be spending money on cardboard anymore. I have much more important and better things to be doing with my money. So, but
I,
that's
I,
just
I
me.
know you don't want to spend money on cardboard anymore, but what else would you buy for $500,000?
$500,000. Well, uh, yeah. Are you saying that I would spend $500,000 on a game or anything I
No, no,
want?
no. I'm just saying, what else could you buy for $500,000?
Well, I mean, I would probably that at that point I'd be moving into Hawaii, which is where I want to live. That's what I'd
Okay,
be spending
the
half a
reason
million
why I
dollars on.
bring this up, I'm going to be talking about this in a future video.
Yeah.
A Black Lotus signed by Christopher Rush went for over $500,000.
Wow, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Christopher Rush is one of my all-time favorite artists. He's done. I have some pieces. I have some cards that I don't play with, but I just collected because I loved his artwork. Like one of my favorites that I own is I have a Chronotog. Have you ever? Well, you know Chronotog, right? Chronotog.
It's an ATOG.
Yeah, it's an ATOG that makes
With
you
time
skip
counter.
turns to
Yeah.
boost his power.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Christopher Rush painted it, and it's a favorite piece of mine. He also did like All Hallows Eve and stuff like that.
Yes.
And he did a bunch of pieces that I adore.
Didn't
So
he, isn't it the new Bloom Lotus for Time Spiral coming out? I believe is by Christopher Rush. I don't know. I gotta look more into that. Anyway, guys.
yeah, we got to get out of here. I'm sorry. So yeah, I would like absolutely love like you guys will notice in the thumbnail there's a number 1 in there. So I'm really hoping that Cinder would love to do another one of these heat casts with me.
It would be fun, but I really gotta try and figure out a schedule if I'm doing more podcasts, because I do another podcast once a week with the Dark Titans. So
Okay, that's okay.
it is tough with everything else, and I know I'm going into, I believe in March, into another shutdown. So we'll see where things end up after that.
All right, it's all good, man. We'll see if we can plan something. It's just this very specific one I really wanted to do because I was so passionate about the topics that we talked about today. So do you want to? Would you like to plug all your stuff? Just in case we happen to get
everyone here knows me, but if you don't know me, look me up as Cindershadow Gaming. Don't separate the Cinder and the Shadow because it'll never show up.
All right, and I'm gonna say all my similar stuff, which is like, comment, subscribe, do all those wonderful things that I love. Check in the description below for my PayPal link, my Streamlabs link. Go ahead and check out some of my other links. I have my P.O.Box. I'm also going to do my wonderful Patreon shout out, which I always love doing all the time because they're such beautiful, sexy people. I have the wonderful Mr. Yaboy Lettuce, the wonderful Bo Falcon, the amazing Mr. Fajouk, the wonderful James P., and the beautiful Miss Rebecca. And I appreciate and adore every single one of my Patreon members, and I thank them so much for supporting my channel and all the wonderful things that we do on here. So other than that, I'm going to say my favorite saying. And I highly encourage for Mr. Cinder to make it a life code of his as well. Which I'm sure in his own way he already does, which is follow your dreams, guys, okay? You guys all have a great night. We will see you later. Hopefully we can do another one of these podcasts in the future, but there's no guarantee. It's all based on my wonderful friend Cinder. So I was
told to do it by people in your chat was to link my channel. So it's there.
That's okay. As far as I'm convinced, when you're in here and you're doing your thing with me, there's nothing wrong with that, good sir.
Thanks, guys.